right. Well, we're here with Jonathan Seitz. He's the Vice President of Provider Services with Choice Health at Home. And I really appreciate you being on here, Jonathan.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, just want to ask you a couple quick questions here. But before we do that, why don't you just tell us a little bit about who you are, tell us about the company and what you guys do.
Well, I'm, as you mentioned, the Vice President of Provider Service. I'm attached to a larger company that has home health, rehab, palliative, and hospice. It's a company that started back in 2004 by an amazing man by the name of David Jackson and Trina. And basically, he had a vision to take care of people. He saw how home health clinicians came in and took care of his sick grandfather, and he knew that that's what he wanted to do. And in today we are in 5 states, 2,500 employees, and it's just continuing to grow because of that passion for. It's not about the money; it's about trying to just touch as many people's lives as we can. So, yeah, and I run the private duty side, so I'm a little less clinical. Definitely a lot more hands-on, and it's like I always tell everyone, like my people, our tagline is a continuum of care. I'm kind of the beginning of that stage, and I like to say that we're kind of hands and feet of our clients, so that we can help take care of them and do the things that they're unable to and help them age in place. So
Sure. Perfect. Well, thanks for sharing that. And, I'm just curious about some of your insights, really about the healthcare industry in a whole, and, even with specifically home health. What are your insights in terms of, big changes in the industry, or what are you seeing in the industry as we go, finish out 2022 and go into 2023?
I think it's safe to say everybody across the industry, and not even just healthcare, just industry as a whole, where it's hard to find people. I don't know if it's because people don't want to work. I don't know if because this generation grew up with rom-coms where work was romanticized, and I grew up, you went to work to pay the bills, and
Right.
and hopefully you loved what you did, but you work to work, and
Sure.
it's definitely been a real battle to find people that not only work, but more importantly love to do what they do, and love to take care of people. I think COVID has played a part in that. I think it definitely burned out a lot of people. I feel like a lot of healthcare workers are just. Can I give you a for instance?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
I knew a guy that was an ED. I knew a guy. He was an ED for a skilled nursing facility, and I've known him for 25 years. And he literally just walked away, and now he's driving a truck.
Interesting. Yeah.
And it's you just hear a lot more stories like that. So it's hard to find people.
I've heard that, from a few people and a few different clients and companies within the industry. In terms of you guys specifically, staying along the topic of hiring and recruitment, I mean, do you feel that, it's like that across the board for all positions, or really more so personnel that's, patient care and hands-on with the patients, or do you see that at kind of the corporate level as well?
I honestly see it everywhere. And again, I'm not even saying it's industry specific,
Mm-hmm.
because, I was in commercial printing and marketing for a long time. A lot of people
Sure.
heck, I didn't come from the healthcare industry. I walked into it during COVID,
Yeah.
while people were walking out. So it's,
Right.
yeah, I'd say it's at all levels.
Sure.
At all levels.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And like I was saying, it's it's not just specific to healthcare, right? Like we know there was severe impacts to the healthcare industry over the past few years, and the way people hired, the way people recruited, the types of opportunities that people were looking at, and going broader, not as industry specific, but across the board. Yeah, I mean, now you have the element of work from home, You know, people are willing to take pay cuts to be able to work remotely now, and you deal with all that, all sorts of changes. So ever changing, and it's important to be dynamic, right? And to be able to change along with, you know, with the way the industry and the way things are changing. So what, you know, we worked together for a while. So what was your experience working with Bear Recruiting? You know, how did you enjoy working with us, and kind of what was your overall experience?
Well, I've always said you guys are actually a godsend, because when I got into it, the only way they were really recruiting was the way I think a lot of industries do, Indeed, some of these big platform companies. And as the need got stronger and we grew and expanded, because, you know, my little division, we doubled sales in just a matter of really less than a year, you know, months. And with that need, the expense grew, and that expense just kept climbing and climbing and climbing. And yeah, there was a return, but when you looked on your average return, you know, per ad and advertising and everything else, it was just kind of getting out of control. And you guys came along, and not only did you simplify and automate the process for me, you also helped me get exposure on social media in the process. And it was funny because it's been a little while. You have to forgive me, but when I was looking and crunching the numbers, I was paying 5 times on Indeed what we started out. Now we expanded services and we added, you know, revenue, but the ROI on it was way better. I think I was paying at the beginning 5 times the cost, but I was getting 5 times the return from you guys.
Sure.
So it was a no-brainer for me to expand you guys into the other divisions and regions and just grow with you guys. And the other thing I loved about you guys is that you made it easy to where I could actually budget a set cost. You know, it wasn't this,
Sure.
you know, nickel and diming, and this was, you know, all of a sudden, where did this cost come from? And what, you know, I'm paying $500 for what? So it was very easy to work with you guys. So
awesome. Well, really appreciate those words, and you know, definitely appreciate everything on your end as well. So just I guess last question for you, and within your role of your company, like, what are your big initiatives here through the remainder of the year?
Well, you know, like I said, we've been growing like crazy. We've got continued acquisitions, continued states where we're going to be growing into, and you know, with that is going to be finding other ways to recruit, because again, you know, when you use companies like Indeed, do they work? Yeah, but you've got every other company swimming in the same pool, and you know, trying to catch that same fish. And whereas you guys think outside the box, and I think companies are smart that look into finding other ways to do things that are more effective. You know, cost aside, it's about finding the right people, and companies like Indeed are not going to be finding people that fit your culture. They're just going to be it's a numbers game, and that means we get to wade through those numbers instead of partnering with companies like you, where you kind of get it, what we're looking for, and you send us people that, you know, we know are going to be a potentially a good fit versus just shooting. Shooting in the wind, you know?
Yeah, I completely get it. Well, listen, I appreciate that, and really appreciate you getting on here. Thanks so much for sharing your insight, and obviously wishing you the best here as we finish out the year, a strong finish to the year. And that's it, man. Thanks a lot.
It's my pleasure, Kevin. Thanks again.
All right.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks.